The greater good.
Hey everybody, Greater Good Mining here. Ice River has announced the the AL0 400 gigahash at 100 watts, $7.99 with the ship date of August 15th through August 30th. You guys know that generally things ship at the end of the shipping window, so just be warned right off the bat. This will probably ship at the very end of August, okay? So if you're looking to get an AL0, you can use my discount code GREATER for 2.5% off. I did order one of these. I am pretty excited about this, and I know you're not going to get rich off these little home miners unless something crazy happens, but I just always have a fun time messing with these things. I like that you can just plug them in if you want to and just forget it. It's only 100 watts. You can stack some lithium. Okay, and just a quick tip. This $7.99 price is pushing it dangerously close to where you'd have to pay import duties. Import duties can be like 25% in the US, so that adds like another $200 on to the cost if you end up getting slapped with import duties. So to legally avoid the import duties, first of all, use my discount code. It'll save you some money anyway. Second, I would recommend getting this power supply off the order. So in order to do that, you have to add it to your cart first, and then apply my discount code GREATER at checkout to get 2.5% off. Then subtract out the power supply while it's in your cart, and that will subtract this $20 off your order total, because I'm not an expert on this, and you still might have to pay import duties if something goes different than what I expect. But from my experience, if you can keep the order under $800 in the US anyway, you should not have to pay import duties because it is under a certain threshold. So in the power supply, I'm just being honest, this is not the best power supply for the money. It works fine, especially if you want to keep your Ice River stock. But if you want to overclock things like, say, the KS0 Ultra, I just did a video on that. It takes 200 watts to overclock it to the level that I did anyway. So you'll need a better power supply anyway. So you might as well put this money towards a better power supply. I will leave a link in the description of this video to 2 power supplies that I recommend that are way better for the money than this power supply. No offense to Ice River, this one's fine for stock. But in order to avoid the import duties and get a better quality power supply, you can order the ones I have in the description. They're Amazon affiliate links that helps out the channel if you use it anyway. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Nothing I always say is ever financial advice. You guys have seen, if you've watched my channel, what has happened with the KS0. My OG KS0 was a first batch miner from Ice River, but there was no other Kaspa ASICs available on the network yet. So my first batch, Ice River, has mined, I think it's almost 65,000 Kaspa at this point, if I remember correctly. I'll show it on the screen. I have a video where I just did a kind of a tally of my OG KS1 and OG KS0. Check those videos out if you want to. But you know that eventually my KS0 wound up mining very small amount of Kaspa per day. I still have it on. I'm still going to track it all the way through the next bull run. My hope is if you can stack enough of the coin with a first batch miner, these become worth it. And then you can also consider reselling them if the value of the coin goes up. So these are so you can participate in the network. If you get in on the first batch, you have a pretty good chance of making your ROI quicker. And it's just kind of fun to be part of it. I like crypto mining. I get excited about these new machines that come out, and I like to mess with them. This Ice River AL0 has a pretty decent cash per hash, especially if you use my discount code. The big boy ASIC, the Bitmain AL1 lithium miner, is $32,949 at Crypto Miner Bros. You can also use my discount code at Crypto Miner Bros. It's greater, and you can get $70 off your order. And this one is 15.6 terahash. So if you do the math, this one is more efficient, obviously, because we're only pulling 3,510 watts with the AL1 to get 15.6 terahash. But when you look at the cash per hash, it is very close to what the AL0 costs per gigahash for lithium. I'm sorry to say this, and I don't like to dog any manufacturers or anything, but Gold Shell, even though they adjusted the price on their LBox 2, $2,760 for 720 gigahash at 360 watts. It's so far behind the AL0 and the big boy ASIC. So I get like, might want like a middle of the road option. Not everybody wants to spend $33,000 on an ASIC. But when you have the AL0 for $799 and actually cheaper with my discount code, only at 100 watts, you can very easily beat this 720 gigahash by buying two AL0s. Then you're only pulling 200 watts and you're spending $1,000 less on two AL0s. So that was my logic behind going ahead and ordering the AL0, because it is priced very competitively against Bitmain, right on point with Bitmain, and very competitively against Gold Shell. And like I said, I'm not trying to dog Gold Shell, but I mean, this is just a better value. So the ship date is August 15th through August 30th. That's the only thing I could say. I don't know when the Gold Shells will ship. It says 14 business days for handling time. So I don't know when you would actually receive your Gold Shell miner. So, and then obviously the Bitmain batch is August as well. And it just says August. It doesn't give us like a shipping window more specifically like Ice River does. So anyway, it's all risky, but I did go ahead and buy one of these AL0s. I'm pretty excited to FAFO with a new algorithm with these Ice River miners. Now, let's take a quick look, because I don't want people to think that Kaspa is Alephium. They're not the same. They have different tokenomics. So Alephium had pre-sales, and they have future strategic private sales with vesting periods. So be aware of the tokenomics. I'm not going to read this out loud to you guys, but just go on alephium.org, look at the tokenomics of Alephium, make sure you understand that this is a different algorithm, different project, different tokenomics. Do your own research on it, and be aware that the hash rate, it's not Kaspa. This is not a Kaspa Ice River situation where nobody knew if Ice River was real and you had like several months of being ahead if you bought the first batch. We know that Ice River is real. We know that there are other ASICs already out for Alephium, and we know that there's some sort of entity that came online with a ton of hash rate very quickly, and this hash rate has risen very, very rapidly ever since then. So I was mining Kaspa with GPUs in the fall of 2022, like late 2022, and I was mining Alephium in the fall last year of 2023. So I'm getting the same vibe as far as the hash rate goes, because it's around the same, around 1 petahash when these ASICs launched, kind of similar to what happened with Kaspa. So I'm getting that same vibe. So if you buy one of these AL0s and you're thinking about 6 months from now, you're hoping for price appreciation, just like when you're buying any ASIC for any algorithm. You hope that you can stack enough to make it worth it before you sell. Whenever you decide to sell, whether it's the peak of the bull run, whether you mine and sell every day, whatever your strategy is, you're hoping that the price will go up or at least stay pretty steady. Now, the price of Alephium has gone up very rapidly since the announcement of the ASICs, and some people are saying there's potentially some manipulation there. I don't know for sure. But we are in the $2 range, like $2.16 if I remember. I'll show it on the screen. So just be aware that the hash rate is going to go up similar, probably with Kaspa, like that, just like a similar situation when an ASIC launches and now there's tons of competition. Lots of ASICs are being released and they're just going to get more and more efficient and more powerful, just like it's happened with the Ice River Kaspa ASICs. We went from 100 gigahash on the KS0 to 200 gigahash on the KS0 Pro. Now we're at 400 gigahash for the KS0 Ultra. I have a feeling very similar things will happen with the Alephium ASICs. So just be aware of that before you ape into these. Anyway, I am very excited about the AL0. And I am glad that I ended up picking one up. I will do some videos on this as soon as it arrives. I'll keep an eye on this and let you guys know if I find anything else interesting about them. So keep an eye on my channel. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. It helps more than you know. Consider subscribing to my channel so you can kind of see some future videos that are similar to this, and I'll talk about the ELF AL0. Last but not least, don't forget to keep it decentralized for the greater good.
The greater good.